Welcome back. Over the last 5 or so videos, we've flipped some pretty cool bikes and they've been all different sorts of disciplines, but they've all had one thing in common. And that is that I actually paid money to get those bikes. So today's video, we're back to basics and we have got ourselves a proper free marketplace find. So this was left curbside and free to the first person to collect it. So what we have here is a 2009 Giant Sedona AX. And it's a pretty entry-level mountain bike for the time. Front suspension fork with no real adjustment, V-brakes, and some pretty budget Shimano drivetrain components. So the owners of this bike posted it up on Facebook Marketplace for free. And it was just left curbside to collect with a bunch of their kids' other bikes and some helmets and camping gear and things. I put it in my saved items thinking that if I was in the area soon, I would swing by and see if it was still there. So it was like a week later, it was still there in my saved items and the ad had not been removed. As I was in the area that morning, I would just swing past and see if it was still sitting there. And sure enough, a week later, this free bike was still sitting curbside. Now, in the photo, you can see that the front wheel had been removed and it looked like it was either missing or had broken pedals, but they're simple fixes. Like to put a front wheel back on the bike, unless there was something mechanically wrong with it, is like a 2-second job. I could have gone to this house, put the pedals in, put the front wheel back in, and ridden it home. There's nothing wrong with this bike apart from its overall aesthetic condition. So a big reason that bikes like this end up in landfill is because people just don't see the value in spending a couple of hours fixing this up. This could have gone to the tip shop and I've been out there to see what they have. All the bikes sit out in the weather and they are all had it. There is not one single bike out there, unless you were there on the day that it gets dropped off, the rest of them are no good and they will end up being moved from the tip shop into landfill. So while the owners might not see potential in something like this, for me, all I see is money. When it is a free bike there on the side of the road, it doesn't really worry me. Even if there was broken components on there, I could still use it for parts. Headset spacers, headset cups, the frame is in good condition, the chain ring is in good condition. I got 2 wheel sets. However, everything here appears to work as it should. When I picked it up, it had 2 flat tires. I grabbed this bike nearly 2.5 weeks ago. I pumped up the tires, they're still holding air fine. The tires themselves, I don't think are the original ones because they look like they're brand new. Now, as you can see, overall, it's not in the most aesthetically pleasing condition that it could be in. However, mechanically, there is very few things wrong with this bike. So while the owners may not have seen value in spending a couple of hours fixing this up and getting it riding to be able to sell it, a free bike is free money. Let's get into it. So where I would normally start off at the front of the bike and I would remove bells and reflectors, any clutter, broken light clips and things like that. What I really wanted to do on this bike was find out whether the pedals were actually usable and whether I had to order some more. So it had sat for quite a while, and when I picked up the bike, I did have a quick look at them and they seemed fine, but I hadn't unwrapped the sticky tape. So once I got that off, both the pedals appeared to be completely fine and in perfectly usable condition. So I just refit those. And yeah, after riding it around the block a couple of times, they don't appear to have any issues with them. Now, if only all bike locks were this easy to remove. It was left curbside, the owners weren't home when I got there, so there was no way of really getting the code without pestering them on Facebook, so I didn't really worry about it because I seen that it was literally just wrapped around the seat post, so it was just a matter of removing the seat post, removing the lock, and putting the seat post back in. Now, I have been making an effort to leave bells and reflectors on where possible on these commuter style bikes. However, you'll see here the hardware on this is extremely rusty, and rather than try and tidy that up or find a screw to replace it, it's quick just to get rid of it altogether. And then next up, a 2-second job was just to clip this dust cap back into place. And yeah, here is the point of contention in the video. I'm not sure what the correct method is to clean up fork sanctions. If you have any better solutions for a cheap fix, then please let me know. However, yeah, I just chose to hit this with some WD-40 and some 2000 grit sandpaper, and it took it off pretty well. I don't know if there's a better method that's less destructive to the metal, but this seems to work fine. I'm unsure of the longevity, so yeah, if you do have any better methods, please let me know down below and I'll try them out on the next bike. Now, once I'd finished the forks, I thought, oh, what else can I sort of sand the rust off? And I had a go at this quick release skewer. It was just wasted effort. I ended up just giving it a quick sand and then putting it straight back in. It's not that much better than it started. All these bottle cage bolts were actually pretty rusty and horrible looking, so I just removed them and left them out. When you go to buy a bottle cage, they normally come with bolts anyway, so if anyone was to put a bottle cage on this bike, they'll have some fresh new hardware with it. Now the stand here, it was actually broken. I probably would have opted to leave it on the bike if it worked. However, yeah, it didn't work, so I got rid of it. And luckily there was not very many marks underneath where it was mounted. And here we have it, the bike ready for sale. I haven't had to spend a single cent on this bike. Even down to the point of going to pick it up, I was already in the area for another reason, and this was only a couple of streets away. So I don't even have to account for fuel when going to collect this. To get it to this point has only taken about an hour of my time. There was a decent amount of the process of cleaning this up that I just didn't film because I thought that this was only probably gonna be like a $50 bike, so it was just gonna be a very quick flip. I did not realize how good this thing was gonna actually clean up. The condition of the bike overall, it was extremely dirty. However, the fact that it was covered in like grease and grime has actually worked out in my favor because it has protected the paint over time. There's a lot of places like around the bottom bracket and the crown of the forks where I thought that I was gonna clean the grease off and I was gonna discover scratches or just faded paint. And the crown on the forks looks unreal. The bottom bracket cleaned up great. Even the cassette looks super clean. Now you would have seen that I used some wet and dry sandpaper and some WD-40 to clean up the sanctions on the forks. Now I'm not sure if this is the correct way to do this, so please comment down below if there is a better solution to cleaning up that rust. I'm obviously not going to do a full service on the forks, and I'm not going to replace the forks. All I wanted to do was make them look better. They still function as they should, and they're not a performance shock of any kind. This is basically just a commuter bike. It's never going to see like proper trails, so I'm not too worried about the actual condition of the forks. However, they clean up great and they work well. But if there is a better solution to that rust problem on the sanctions, then please let me know, because I would love to know either an easy or better solution to that issue. So overall, the bike has come up really well. The tires themselves look brand new, and there isn't even any wear on the knurling of the tread in the center of the tire. The brake pads look good, the wheels run true. The chain does show some minor signs of rust on the outside of the links. However, I have given it a pretty decent clean and lubed it up, and it works fine. So for the price that I sell these bikes for, they're never always gonna be 100%. There is gonna be little things like a little bit of rust on the chain. I could go through and fix everything up so it worked immaculately. However, I'm never gonna get the money back for it. And if I was to put that much money into it and list it, I would probably never sell it, to be honest. I would just be stuck with a whole bunch of bikes that owe me a lot of money. So I get these, I clean them up, use as minimal parts as possible, and then I sell them off cheap. Now, if I was a bike store, I would obviously be held to a standard. When I'm selling these bikes on Marketplace, I could sell them in any condition that I want to, really. However, I prefer to get them to a point where they ride and function properly. And if the new owner decides that they want to change the chain, they've got the bike for a decent enough price that they can afford to go out and spend those couple of dollars to fix the little things if they want to. Otherwise, they can just ride this bike and it will probably function fine for the next 2-3 years without any issues. So I haven't really dabbled in like YouTube posts or community forums. However, if anybody's interested in like joining a community forum, whether it be through Facebook or Discord, it would be good to like just be able to post up Marketplace ads that we find of free bikes so that everybody can get involved. There might be some bikes that people see that are a really good deal, and I mean, the algorithm always feeds you different things, so it might not pop up in your Marketplace, and then it'll be an option for you to go and grab that. Likewise, if you see something that's in the Sunny Coast or Brisbane area that you might want to see done up on the channel, then you can flick it to me through that forum. Or even if you want to just reach out through Instagram, I'll link my Instagram down below. So I've just started a new Instagram page, Document Cycling. You'll be able to follow anything that I'm doing that's sort of away from the channel, but I'll be dropping like previews of the bikes that I've got to flip, so you'll know what's coming up in the videos. Also, I'll be documenting my gravel series journey, which will be a series that I'll start dropping soon. So I have a race coming up in early July, and I'm going to document my training heading up to that. However, I don't know whether I'm going to make it into a YouTube series or if I just make short form content leading up to that. Also, I have just bought myself a BMX, and after I drop this video, there's just going to be like a pretty long video of me sort of building it up, getting it ready to ride, and then I'll probably take it out on a ride and film some stuff as well. So if there is anyone that watches my videos from around like Southeast Queensland area and you're a BMX rider, reach out to me through Insta and yeah, we can link up for a ride. I normally ride Caloundra Skate Park here on the coast. However, I stopped in at the new Morayfield Skate Park the other day and it looks pretty sick. So I'll be keen to go out and try that. So the YouTube is growing like pretty rapidly. I never expected to get so many subscribers or likes or views on any of these videos. This was just something that I was going to do just to sort of fill in a bit of time and have some fun and keep fresh with the camera. But I mean, yeah, it seems to be going quite well. So I'm not going to change it up too much. I'm going to keep doing the bike flipping videos, and I'll try and drop one once a week. And then I'll try and do some more midweek videos, maybe, which are more like passion focused. So it'll document my gravel riding, BMX riding, my road training, fixed gear riding, or any sort of meets or anything that I go to. That way I can sort of keep them on the same channel. They'll still be related, but they'll be separate, and you can always expect to see bike flipping videos. It's what has made the channel what it is, and it's obviously what people like to watch because they're the ones that get the most views and engagement. And I also enjoy doing it because it makes me a little bit of money on the side. So I'll definitely be continuing to do this, and yeah, there's going to be heaps more cycling content to come. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick flip of the Giant Sedona AX, and I'll be sure to post up what I've listed it for, what it's sold for. I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one,